Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are brothers on tennis. And folks, it's a new year, 2025 already. Bryce, hey, we're starting it off, we're kicking it off. How you doing? How you feeling? Happy New Year to you, brother.
Happy New Year to you too, my
Yes,
friend.
yes, yes. What's going on, my man?
I can't believe we're here to another tennis season. I think we saw a post that said technically the tennis off season was like 4 hours and some number of minutes
Yeah.
between the last match of 2024 and the first one of 2025. But we've already talked about that. So I hope you are trying to stay safe as I am from these fires out here in California. So we're going to try to spread some joy and happiness with this episode while we let the pros deal with what they do out there.
Exactly. And folks, we are excited because we always kick off the year with what we call the BOT Awards. And we've done this for the last is this our fifth annual or sixth now? I guess
at least fifth.
At least five. Mm-hmm. And folks, it's just our way of giving out our own awards to those who were deserving in 2024. So, Bryce, anything you want to share with the folks before we jump into the categories?
And, just a reminder that, these awards are given out in the spirit of fun. Our show, although we do report on the sport of tennis, it's entertainment and we try to have fun with it. So, just wanted to remind everyone of that. We hope you like our selections for this year. But, if you have different ideas, you can have your own show. So there we go.
Or you can put them in the comments and say, hey, we don't agree with you. And we'll be like, that's okay. I love it because that's how we roll at Brothers on Tennis, y'all. That's how we roll. So we are excited about these awards. We're excited that we are into 2025. And we can go ahead and kick it off, right? So, hey, we always start, of course, with Player of the Year.
Yes. And, I think this was a pretty easy one for us this year. And actually, this one is usually a pretty easy one every year because it's pretty clear usually who the players of the year are. And I find it interesting that the two people we selected from both the men's and the women's side both not only ended the year number one, but they both won the same majors.
Exactly.
And so with that being said, I'm sure there's no mystery that we are talking about for both the men and the women, Yannick Sinner and Sabalenka. Yes. So, Isaac, why did Sabalenka, because we know you're a big Sab fan, why did she deserve this Player of the Year award in 2024?
Well, I think that she showed up and she showed out, Bryce. I mean, to be very clear, she was on the verge of taking that number one year in ranking last year. Iga was like, "Nah, you're not ready for it," and came and snatched it at the last minute. And I think that kind of stung a bit. It did sting. And for her, I think that she just came out with a new focus. And she's kind of really stepped up her game. And, for her, I mean, again, she defended her Australian Open championship, but to then come back on the other hard court Grand Slam and pull the U.S. Open, if you win 2 Grand Slams in a year, you're definitely in strong contention for number one, ending number one and being Player of the Year. So I just feel like she stepped up when needed. And like I said, she got that year-ending number one, which is something she was looking for.
And just to add to that, I think, it wasn't just easy strolling for her. I mean, she was still coming off of the yips a bit, with the serve and with the ground strokes. And so she overcame that. And that was huge to do that. And then early in the year, she tragically lost her ex-boyfriend.
Right.
And so I'm sure that was an emotional toll on her as well. So shout out to Sabalenka for, coming through the valley and arriving at the mountaintop, by the end of the year.
Absolutely, Bryce. She did her thing. She really did her thing. And give us your thoughts around Yannick Sinner ending the year #1.
When I looked at Sinner's game in 2024, all I can do is think of Sierra, because when I think of her song Level Up, that is just exactly what he did with his game. I mean, he played the same game, he just played it better. He hit harder, he was more consistent. He turned around, his head-to-head records with several key players.
Right.
Really, the only thing that he was not, if I'm going to say successful in 2024, was he couldn't get up on Alcaraz in the best of 3 big-time matches. Alcaraz was like, no, I'm not going to let you have these. But he took everything else.
Right.
And I know Medvedev don't want to hear nothing from Sierra right now, because he completely flipped the script on their head-to-head.
Yes.
And has really made this where we thought there would be at least 3 or 4 people in the mix here. It's a Sinner Alcaraz game. So I know we're talking about Sinner right now, but it will be very interesting to see what Alcaraz does differently next year. Now, granted, he won 2 majors as well, but
exactly.
He had a few more dips in the year that Sinner did not.
Right.
The other thing that I'm going to give Sinner credit for is, like Sabalenka, once again, it wasn't all easy selling for him. I mean, for a while, he knew about this whole doping and suspension potential thing happening, and that's still in the mix, and we still don't know how that's going to potentially impact his 2025.
Right.
But with all of that going on, he was the clear #1 to me, especially once you look past him splitting the majors with Alcaraz.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Well said. I completely agree. That level up, you hit it on the head, because that's exactly what happened. His game has not really, in my opinion, changed that significantly. He's just better at everything that he was doing.
Yep.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And so next, when we get past Player of the Year, you want to know, well, okay, who are the new folks coming on board? And so we have a couple of newcomers on the year that we have named. Now, Isaac, I'd like for you to talk about this first one on the women's side.
Yeah. So we nominated Emma Navarro as the newcomer of the year. And I know y'all are like, wait a minute. Emma's been on tour for a while. How's she going to be newcomer? No. See, these BOT awards, we got stuff that we need to explain for you. Yeah. When you make a jump, the way that Emma Navarro made her jump, it was out of nowhere. No one could have predicted that. I mean, she was off. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure she was in the top 100. But even with that, typically when you're in the top 100, you make that steady growth. Like you'll get to the top 50, the top 40, then you'll start getting to the 30s, maybe the 20s. Emma Navarro was like, you know what? I'm about to do all of that in 2024. And oh, by the way, I'm even going to get into the top 10. Right. That's unheard of, people. That's unheard of. You don't have a player that goes from that level all the way into the top 10, threatening the top players in the world. It's just not normally done. And so for us, Emma Navarro showed up and she showed out in 2024. And hence, that's why we are giving her the newcomer of the year for 2024. Bryce, anything additional you want to say about Emma?
I like the fact that you stated no one saw this coming. And I'm guilty. I was one of those ones back in the day that was like, here's this rich girl who we know we'll see every year at the Charleston tournament because Daddy owned it. And I guess now that Daddy owned the Cincinnati Open too, we'll see her there as well. We'll see her twice a year. but she has really come into her own. She actually gives me kind of Ash Barty like type of vibes with her game, in terms of, and a little Ange Jabeur in terms of her variety and what she brings. She's not just even though she's got power, she's not just about sitting on the baseline and hitting the ball as hard as she can.
Right.
And look, I'm glad we have her listed as newcomer, because I think there is a lot of growth that can still come in her game.
I agree.
And I'm crossing my fingers that she has the right people in her camp to help make that move for her, because she has the natural ability to be a perennial top tenor.
I agree with that. I agree. I love the competitive spirit she shows, and she just gets out there and she works. She's no frills. She's not trying to be all about the stuff and the drama. She's just like, I'm going out here. I'm about to play this game. I'm about to whip up on some folks, and then I'm gonna be out. And that's it.
Right.
I love that mindset and that attitude from Emma Navarro. Love that.
Right. I just need for her and Jesse Pagula to play doubles together, so that somebody needs to go get that side of the court insured. You know,
right?
we can't let them get hurt.
Not at all. That's a lot of B's, a lot of billions, y'all. A lot of billions. Yes, sir. So, Bryce, what about our newcomer of the year on the men's side?
Now, you know, Brothers Own Tennis had to go where the brother was.
Come on.
And, you know, Pesci Paracord. And I remember first being introduced to him, not in person, but just becoming aware of him through our good OG follower and family member, Paul. And you all know Paul. And Paul was telling us about it, and he was like, you got this big 6'8" guy and insane serve. But the thing that stood out to Paul, and that has stood out to me, because tennis is not new to serve bots, right? Guys that have these big serves and they win every match 7-6, 6-7, 7-6, you know, whatever. We've seen plenty of that. The difference with Paracord is the fact that he had more than just a serve.
Yeah. He
had great hands at the net. He had good movement on the court for somebody that large. Right. He had ground strokes for you. You know, that's not the phrase I wanted to use, but we'll say he had ground strokes for you. And he started to show people, I'm more than just a big serve. And right now, as we speak, he has just continued to trend upwards. And I'm telling you, they're lying if people on the men's side say they are not checking the draws to see where he's landing in draws these days. Nobody wants to face him. I mean, like Mensick and all these other people. You know, they are trying to face this guy. And so once again, like you were saying, Isaac, nobody really saw Navarro coming. Right. At least we had kind of heard of her.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of knew about her from college and, you know, Rich Daddy. But Paracord, who we were looking at coming out of France, was Fils.
Right.
And so I like to call this our updated or our 2.0 version of Monfils and Tsonga.
Yep.
And it'll be very interesting to see what they can do on tour. So what did you think about Pesci?
Oh, I love Impesh. I love Gio, whatever you want to call him. I love that guy, because to me, he is all about competition. He gets out on the court, again, similar to what we were saying about Emma Navarro. He gets out there, no frills. He's not trying to, you know, fist pump or do all this show. He's like, I'm trying to get that victory. I'm trying to spank somebody up and get back to the locker room. And I just love that mindset about him. I feel like that's going to take him very, very far. Because as we know, French players tend to be the more emotional. They tend to be the ones trying to please the crowd and this, that, and the other. I do not see that with Pesci Paracord. I think he is like, listen, I'm trying to get out there and whoop it up and get back to the locker room. I'm not trying to all the frills and thrills and, you know, trick shots. I'm not about that. I'm about trying to get wins. And I honestly feel like that's going to translate to big success for him going forward. I really believe that. I don't be surprised if he doesn't end his career with a major. That's all I'm going to say. Don't be surprised.
I can't wait to see him again at Wimbledon. Now that this game is kind of coming together. And remember, Isaac, when we used to talk about, like, when we would talk about Chris Eubanks, and we were like, we just kind of wish he had a couple more cheeseburgers in the system.
Just a couple.
Yeah. Them cheeseburgers were ate by right? So he got a little something extra coming behind his shots, and very excited to see what his 2025 is gonna look like.
Absolutely. Good stuff, brother. Good stuff. So, folks, we've gotten through 2 awards: Player of the Year, Newcomer of the Year. The next award we have, of course, is Breakout Performance. Bryce, who do we have on the breakout performance side? I'll let you go ahead and start. Start with our ladies, if you will.
Okay. This was an easy one for me. Our girl, Jasmine Paolini. Number one, how can you just not absolutely love this woman when you see her in that smile, and she's pocket sized, and she's getting out there and she's playing big babe tennis?
Big babe tennis, yes, she is.
And any player, like, you have to think about it. Outside of like Sabalenka, Jasmine made it to 2 major finals.
Yep. 2
of the most difficult ones to do back to back, Roland Garros and Wimbledon, right? And then, she won a 1,000 level tournament, but she wasn't just doing it in singles.
Right.
Her and Sarah Irani, who, once again, I thought was on that boat with Terrence Trent D'Arby and Crystal Waters and Troop and all of them, she came back out and they were clowning in doubles. They clowned so much that they won the gold at the Olympics.
Right.
So to me, breakout performance, I don't know that there was even anybody else in contention for this.
No.
What do you say?
Exactly the same thing, Bryce. I mean, she to me was absolutely the standout in that category. Because again, no one saw Jasmine coming. I mean, when she won that first tier 1, it was like, okay, Italian, all right, like her.
Career moment.
Yeah, good stuff, good job. And then, but she kept stacking. She was like, I'm still eating, y'all. I got things to do. And just stacking, building that personality, which is just so infectious. I can't say enough, like you said, about Jasmine Paolini. She is absolutely one of my favorite players on the tour in just in general. Right. And so for her, it was absolutely not even a question. She was going to get breakout performance of the year for the ladies.
Well said. Now, who do we think on the men's side deserves this award?
Well, I tell you what, man, and this guy apparently is getting a lot of awards already, but you got to give it to Yannick Sinner, Bryce. I mean, the fact that at the end of 2023, he's stacking. He got Djokovic. Got him a couple times. And then you go into the Australian Open where Djokovic, that's his tournament. He's won like 10 of them. And Yannick Sinner gets in there and he's just like, ain't nobody scared of you. Ain't nobody scared of you.
Right.
Medvedev, ain't nobody scared of you. And he just stacked that run to the Australian Open final and victory. I mean, it was amazing. It really was, because he fought off his demons. He got Novak and was like, get out the way. And he got Medvedev in the final. And he was like, get out the way. And he made it about his, he made it his year. So for me, breakout performance most definitely, in my eyes, goes to Yannick Sinner. Bruh, what are your thoughts?
I totally I agree. I mean, whenever you win your first major, I think that puts you in contention for, breakout performance, because that's a career milestone.
Yeah.
And you're never guaranteed to win another one. And yet he won two in the first year, winning the U.S. Open at the end of the year. So he had been dominating, in the past year, him and Carlos, but Carlos was the one who was racking up the majors. And so that kind of was always giving Carlos a little bit of the edge. Right. And this leveled out the playing field a little bit there between the two of them. Yeah. Sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. The 2025 season for those two will be extremely interesting.
It will be. It will be. Now, for one of my favorite awards of the year is always the upset of the year. And there were some really good ones to consider this year. But Isaac, let's start with the men.
Yes.
What did you think was the upset of the year on the men's side?
Man, I mean, it's so many, and it all kind of centers around Novak.
I love it.
Because while you had the upset in the Olympics that I felt, and we both feel, was an upset, because again, the person on form going into the Olympics was Carlos Alcaraz. He had won Roland Garros. It was on clay. It wasn't that long ago. He had won two majors at that point. He won both Roland Garros and Wimbledon. So he was the odds-on favorite to win that gold medal. And he made it to the gold medal match, as did Djokovic. But Djokovic, again, trying to fill out that resume, because you know how he is about that resume, about the GOAT resume. He's like, I am missing this piece. So therefore, I need this piece, and I'm going to check that box. And what I don't feel that Carlos really, really understood was that Djokovic was going to go to a level that Carlos wasn't quite ready for.
Right.
I think he was expecting the level he saw in Roland Garros, at Wimbledon. Novak was getting over that little knee surgery thing, and he was like, son, I still got a little extra. I still got that little extra. You ain't ready for this. And I'm trying to get this GOAT resume. And you know how much I appreciate my GOAT resume. And in my opinion, Bryce, it was a humongous upset for him to be able to get the gold medal over Carlos Alcaraz. And honestly, I feel like at that point, well, I won't say at that point, because he actually had already taken an L to like Luca Nardi way back in the earlier part of the year. And then at the U.S. Open, Popper was like, hey, bro.
Open season.
You got your gold medal. It's open season. Let's go. So I think it all kind of wraps around Novak as it relates to upset of the year. But I'll pass it to you to throw some additional comments on top of that, bro.
No, I think that's right. I was fully expecting Alcaraz to win, to get that gold medal, to almost for the sake of Rafa, to deny Novak that gold medal in singles. And I'm still not saying that if it had been best of five, that he would not have won that. But yeah, it was just such an odd year for Djokovic. I mean, for him to get this kind of career clinching victory to get the gold medal, but old dude was taking L's all throughout the year, right? But it shows, and we've seen this with a number of players when they get towards the end of their career, they tend to focus in on those tournaments that mean the most to them then. The week in and week out tournaments and these 500s, if they lose, they really don't care. I've won this tournament 5-6 times. It's all good, And I think even us as spectators, we get caught up in that. And we're thinking, oh, man, he's slumping. And then when we get to something that really matters to them, then they're like, okay, here's the old Djokovic. Remember me? Yeah, just what I used to do back in my day. You know, so
Exactly.
that's a very good pick. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Keeping
Yeah.
this kind of upset of the year going on the women's side, a theme that we're gonna keep consistent is going to be the Olympics. Because for lots of the very same reasons why we thought Alcaraz was gonna win, we thought this was a lock for Iga. Iga is basically the queen of clay on the tour. She had won Roland Garros again. We know that she tries to emulate Rafael Nadal, and Nadal has had, really good success at the Olympics. And she was playing Queenie, who, she had made it to the finals of the Australian Open. So, and we knew of the talent, but she's not about to come win the gold over Iga on clay. And Queenie was basically like, y'all don't know me. Y'all don't know me. And I'm not here to be your silver medalist, right? Lena showed me how it was done. Let me get out here and get after it. And Iga was stunned. Yeah. And for me, that was a huge upset. Yes. What did you think?
Everything that you said is spot on, bro. Spot on. Because, like I said, I even feel like that was a much bigger upset than Djokovic over. It definitely was. Right. No one saw Queenie winning the gold medal on clay. Like I said, Iga has been dominant at Roland Garros. It was held on the same courts as Roland Garros. So what would you expect? You expect Iga to get it done. And the fact that Queenie stepped on that court and was like, sis, ain't nobody scared of you. Ain't nobody scared of you. I'm playing for China. I'm not playing for myself right now. I'm playing for my country. And it's all about trying to get this medal. And she went out there and she got it done, Bryce. It was an amazing feat for her to then take her out. Because mind you, that wasn't even the gold medal match. That was to get to the gold medal match.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was in semis.
Exactly. So she had to win that match and then defeat, I believe it was Donna Vekic, right? And so Vekic took the silver, Queenie took the gold, and Iga took, of course, the bronze, because she wasn't gonna lose twice on clay.
No.
But crazy, Bryce. Crazy. That was an upset.
So next for us is the No You Didn't award. And this is the award where we're just like, we're left scratching our heads like, what the hell is going on here? And we kind of awarded this one a little bit differently this year. And Isaac, let the folks in on what we did.
Yeah, so most of the time we, again, followed our process of a male and a female. But this year, we just had to give it to an entire whole governing body because it's crazy. And y'all probably know what we're talking about already. And that's the whole process around the, testing of players, the results, suspensions. It just, that entire process, what basically enveloped Yannick Sinner at Indian Wells going throughout the rest of the year. A lot of inconsistencies. The whole no, you didn't. It's like, no, you didn't allow someone to test positive, but he was still able to play. But other people that also test positive, you was like, no, you go sit down and you're going to pay this big fine. Bryce, it just didn't make any sense.
and not test positive once. Twice.
2 times. Yes.
In case you missed the first one, here's my tainted pee the second time.
2 times.
All right.
Right. But because, I don't know, maybe because I'm the #1 player in the world, we're just gonna try and massage things a little bit. I don't, we're
Mhm.
just gonna work it out. We're not gonna let the public know, even though all your prize money was taken from said tournament when you did test positive,
Right, right.
right?
Hmm.
We even have people, Emer, who didn't even get a chance to do their test and was
Hmm.
told, you need to go sit down, you suspended because you missed your test. So I want y'all to think about that for a minute. You
Yeah.
go sit down because you missed your test. Not that you tested positive, but you missed your test. So you're going to be
And sit down
suspended.
for a year and a half.
Sit down for a year and a half.
Yes.
Bryce, come on.
Look, and just governing bodies in tennis for the year were trash. Not only do we have wait a minute, not only did we have the whole IATA, the drug,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. They've lost their freaking minds on the schedule.
Yep.
There are tournaments literally every week of the year. I'm a tennis fan. We're some of the biggest tennis fans out there. I got tired of watching tennis by the end of the year. I was like, I really don't care who wins or loses. I've been watching them play all year. Give me a minute to miss it.
Give me a minute.
Just
a minute to miss it.
People listening to this, holler if you hear me. Give me an opportunity to miss it. That's what I love about football and baseball and basketball. You get an opportunity to miss it. So when that season starts back again, you're like, yeah, let's do this. I've been watching these people play up until, what was his last thing?
4 hours.
4 hours off.
4 hours. 4 hours.
So, the governing agencies, for professional tennis really need to get it together because they're starting to make it look ridiculous.
Exactly. That's just it. That's it. And so the No You Didn't award goes to all of those wonderful governing bodies of tennis. Y'all got to get it together.
Y'all got to do better. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Enjoy that award because you earned it.
Did they? Oh my gosh. So now we have our final award of the year, which is always a good one because this is the one that you don't necessarily want to get, but if you earn it, come get it.
Come on.
And that's our Mr. and Mrs. Petty award. And the only way you can earn this is by showing and displaying your highest level of pettiness possible some point during the year. So, Isaac, which one do you want to take?
We got to start off with the women because there's a co-petty for the men. So let's start with the women. So unfortunately, the young lady that gets the petty award of the year for BOT is the same woman that took gold at the Olympics this year, and that's Jane Kinwin. Here's the reason why. Jane Kinwin is like, listen, I ain't trying to be friends with none of y'all out here. None of y'all women, ain't nobody trying to be friends with you. I'm trying to win. And if me trying to be friends with you messes me up mentally so that I can't beat you, guess what? I don't want to be friends with you then. Because why? I'm out here to play tennis, win, make money, and then go home. So why I'm trying to be friends with you? Why I'm at the net shaking hands with you all nice and and like Al Jabbar and get your little hug. I'm not trying to hug you.
What that ever do for Al Jabbar? I'm just saying,
Come on, man.
I'm not, right. She's the ambassador of happiness or whatever, but she ain't got no Grand Slam title. So I'm sorry, did I say that? So anyway, Queenie was just basically like, look, there are enough people outside of the world of professional tennis to be friends with. I do not have to find no friends on tour.
Deuces.
So
there you go.
Although that could be considered extremely petty, that's her truth.
That's her truth, you know. So I can't be mad at her for it, because there have been other things that are like, ooh, that's real bad, that's real petty. But for that one, it's petty. But you know what? I'm like, you know what? I get it.
Right.
I get it. So watch those handshakes in 2025, y'all. Yeah.
Because Queenie don't give up. So the moving over to the men. So here's one. You know, this is, we can kind of, well, I'm about to say relate. We really can't relate, but in our same space of, you know, entertainment and journalism and, you know, analysis and commentating, you know, like I said at the beginning of this show, we like to say things, you know, sometimes that are a little spicy, primarily for your enjoyment, right? Not because we wish anyone any ill will most of the time. It's just, you know, for your enjoyment.
Yes.
But you got to be careful of the hot mic, especially when you're being unnecessarily spicy. And so for that, on the Tennis Channel, we have to go with our guy, John Wertheim. Okay. Now, I've been a big fan of John Wertheim for years as a writer.
Yes.
Never really been too much in his camp on TV, but as a writer, excellent, love his stuff. Well, he got caught on that hot mic in the Tennis Channel studio talking about Krejcikova's big forehead. His words, not mine. And it got out, and Krejcikova was not having it. So much so that the Tennis Channel had to sit him down. Now, we've recently learned he's back on, you know, thank goodness he's got the complexion for the protection, because we know if the same mishap had happened to Chris Eubanks, Nicholas Monroe, Chandler Rubin.
Well, all right. Come on, speak your truth. Speak your truth.
You know, they be on Brothers on Tennis, giving some advice and some analysis. Right?
They be like, just make saying. Room, fellas. Make room, fellas. Come on.
Right.
Make room for
just
us.
Saying.
Hey. You know, it's one of those things, like you said, Bryce, you got to watch for the hot mic. You got to watch for the hot mic. And he did his whole, you know, you do the tour when you get caught. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. And he reached out to her directly and was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So he did the rounds. He did the rounds. And apparently that was enough for Tennis Channel. Again, apparently all the governing bodies just want you to, if you're going to be suspended over the holidays. So then that way, time served and boom. Come January, you good. Ain't that right, Iga? Hey, was Iga actually suspended?
I guess technically, but she had the money to make it like that, you know?
There you go. So sorry to make that detour, but yeah, Wertheim, sorry, my friend, but you do get a little bit of that petty award. But we got, and that's even on the broadcaster side. We still have a couple players on the men's side that we're going to give a cold petty to as well. And it starts with, I can't even remember the boy name. Do y'all remember Render Connect?
Oh.
Render Connect. Playing somebody named Taylor Fritz, and he was going out there talking about, well, this time, he ain't got to be doing all that crying like he was at Roland Garros because the crowd was loud. Taylor Fritz was like, no, you didn't. You gonna step out there on me like that? Talking about he ain't got to cry? Okay. So they played their match.
Come on, Renee and Angela.
Come on, Renee and Angela, exactly. They played a match. Taylor, of course, wins. And that's the whole thing. If you're going to talk and be petty to somebody that you can at least beat. How about that? That's one rule of thumb, y'all. If you're gonna mess with somebody, at least be able to beat them. Render Connect got stole on by Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz walked to the net and was like, "Have a nice flight. Bye-bye." Taylor, you know I'm down with you. And you know I love that move. But it was petty.
It was very petty. Very petty. But we love it. We love petty. Petty make the world go round.
It really does, don't it, Bryce? Come on, man. So, folks, that's the BOT Awards. Bryce, anything for the folks?
You know, just looking forward to this 2025 season. There are a lot of storylines to pay attention to on both sides of the tours. And, you know, we plan to be right here with you for it. We're looking forward to the majors this year and the 1000s, as well as we're going to look to try to bring you some new segments that we've not brought in the past. So hopefully that will be for your enjoyment. But other than that, my man, just looking forward to this year. I'm trying to, you know, get a little more rest before the Australian Open starts. And that's what we've got coming up. Look out for our preview show for the Australian Open. The draw should be coming out soon, and we can't wait to dig in them.
That's exactly right. Excited about the first Grand Slam of the year. 2025 has already started off popping. There's a lot of great tennis being played already. So, yeah, looking forward to breaking it down with your brother and sharing our thoughts and opinions on what will happen at AO 2025.
There you go. So with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off from this episode. And hey, look, on behalf of Brothers on Tennis, Happy New Year to everybody. This has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, be well.